Ethanol, one of the most common biofuels, by Madison Freed. Ethanol production began in 1826 and in 1876 by the inventor of the modern four-cycle internal combustion engine, Nicholas Otto. It was used for lighting fuel in the 1850s but was soon heavily taxed to pay for the Civil War. It fueled Henry Ford's Model T in 1908. It soon struck high demand in the 1920s and in the 1930s because it blended well with gasoline for use as an octane booster in World War II. Because of fuel shortages, ethanol became more popular today because of the concerns of the price and harmful effects involving leaded gasoline. Ethanol can be made from cellulosic feedstocks such as crop residues and wood, but is most commonly formed from corn. Most production plants are located in the Midwest and are located near large population centers. Production process is shorter for starch feedstocks than cellulosic feedstocks. It's produced from wet or dry mill processing. 90% of plants are dry mills due to lower costs. Dry milling grinds corn into flour and ferments in ethanol, but also produces carbon dioxide. Wet mills separate starch, protein, and fiber into corn prior to processing these compounds into products such as ethanol. And cellulosic production, there are two processes, biochemical and thermochemical. Biochemical involves pretreatment to release hemicellulose sugars, followed by hydrolysis to break down those sugars. Sugars are fermented in ethanol, and ligand is recovered and used to produce energy to power the process. The thermochemical process involves adding heat and chemicals to biomass feedstock to produce a mixture of carbon monoxide and hydrogen. This mixture is called syngas and is mixed with a catalyst and reformed into ethanol and other liquid co-products. Ethanol use is widespread and more than 98% of gasoline in the U.S. contains some ethanol. Most common blend is E10, 10% ethanol, 90% gasoline. It's also available as E85 or flex fuel, a high-level ethanol blend containing 51% to 83% ethanol, depending on geography and season of use and flexible fuel vehicles. E15 is another blend that is increasing in market presence. It is approved for use in the model year 2001 and newer, lighter duty conventional gas vehicles. Research funded by the National Wildlife Federation, the U.S. Department of Energy, found that ethanol is at least 24% more carbon intensive than gasoline due to emissions resulting from land use changes to grow corn, along with processing and combustion. 1 gallon of ethanol emits 18.92 pounds of CO2 when combusted. On average, driving 1 mile emits 315 grams of carbon. Ethanol production creates jobs in rural areas where employment opportunities are needed. In 2022, production of ethanol accounted for more than 24,000 direct jobs across the country. 342 indirect jobs are gained through the production of ethanol. 57.1 billion of gross domestic product and 28.7 billion in household income. The New York Times wrote a paper and pointed out that a gallon of ethanol delivers only 2/3 as much energy as a gallon of pure petroleum-based gasoline, and as a result, we're paying twice as much for ethanol per unit of energy as petroleum-derived gasoline. The loser, he says, is the American consumer to the tune of about 10 billion each year. This was during the ethanol mandate to lower the carbon emissions to the carbon footprint. The mandate stated that there had to be a certain mixture of ethanol and gasoline to lower the complete use of gasoline. In fact, the ethanol didn't help, and some sources say it made it worse. In conclusion, I believe that ethanol was created for good intentions to try to reduce our global pollution. However, the use of ethanol has increased our carbon footprint and pollution. While I understand the reduction of ethanol production has repercussions, development of cleaner power options should be our priority. We need to invest in alternative and cleaner technologies to reduce our dependency on fossil fuels and ethanol and create alternatives to power our daily lives and industries. Plan of action we could take is we need to invest in cleaner technologies, reducing our carbon footprint and pollution globally. This investment will take time, money, and innovation. Currently, companies are working to better harness solar, wind, and ocean power. These companies need incentives from our national policymakers to reduce pollution and invest in new technology. While we cannot shut down our current system immediately, we need to transition from ethanol dependency to cleaner, greener industry daily life. For example, homeowners need to transition to using solar panels within the next 5 years to reduce our dependency on our utility power grid. The federal government could give tax incentives. Another example would be companies mandating the use of electric vehicles within the next 5 to 10 years to reduce carbon emissions and pollution.